always better than just sitting behind that desk.
It is.
I sit at the table instead of the desk.
We're gonna do WebEx tonight? Oh, no, he was just asking me. Oh, that must have been old.
I was thinking,
That was old.
somebody did too.
Where is everybody? You in tonight, man. You went to road all rooms now. It's a day of love. We shouldn't be here. You got a big day planned for tonight? I got a minimum of 4 kids in the house. It could be anywhere from 4 to 12. I don't know which one's gonna be right now.
Those guys did a good job on the ball. Painting it.
Yeah.
Real nice. Who's had y'all used for painting? Was that an independent group or an outside group?
Yeah.
They're good, man.
Yeah, they are. They're actually out of Peace Farm.
Really?
They're local, yeah. But he does painting all over.
Does he
the
do
United
outdoor
States.
painting too?
Oh,
I'm gonna get his name from you at some point.
yeah, okay.
If I were to do my house, something like that.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, I thought he did a stellar job. That wall, things don't change. We got a customer in Beltline.
Yeah, they're all family, so they're all, you know, all related. Brothers
It seemed like
and nephews.
they took care of their, they took care of the wall. I mean, they were, they just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They still. They still. On that email you sent out above the agenda, it had all those names and those checks. What was that?
The bills. You know, all the bills that we have to pay.
Yeah.
That's what that was.
That's just, I seen some fire department guys, fire department guys. and everything.
Yeah, so they either got refunded for, county reimbursement or school reimbursement, is what that should be.
So chief. You should have had the right
Yeah, they're really good. Right. Maybe you're reading through Beltline Brothers.
15 years old, and so back when he was obviously a bandwagon fan of Decatur, went back there, started back, he's self-stand, he was a Cincinnati Reds fan. He's a big fan for Shoals. That's the 90s. So much.
Oh, by the way. Talked to Susie right after I talked to you, she says, she said, if they want to fall apart, if you want to make a march, but I thought, 2, 3 years, so he did that. I didn't spend some time.
I didn't know that she's here. She said she was going to be here.
She's here.
She's here.
Yeah. I was checking it.
But you think he's going to do the 5G thing on the internet? I can do it. I can show you.
That's what they need to start calling her. They're Ric Flair, you should talk about riding space out, doing all that stuff.
He did it with enthusiasm.
He enthusiasm.
She worked today. I worked last night. I haven't been to bed. I know. I saw your car at the center. And that beautiful parking lot. Salty about
All right, it's 5 o'clock. We will go ahead and get started. I know everybody's talking loud. I had to speak up. It's the Meester's fault. All right, we'll start moving through our agenda. Get any questions answered for our council meeting next week. First on the list is approve monthly bills. Approve January 2022 monthly bills. Any questions? Next is approval of minutes, January 31st, 2022, 5 p.m. work session, February 7th, 2022, 5:30 p.m. work session, February 7th, 2022, 6 p.m. council meeting. Any questions? All right, next, public hearings, resolution number 22030, approve request for off-premise beer and wine license for Alabama CVS Pharmacy LLC, doing business as CVS Pharmacy number 4844 at 812 Beltline Road, Decatur, Alabama 35601.
Thank you.
Lori?
Okay, so on this one, we're asking for an exception because it is not 500 feet away from a church. But if you look in your packet, it shows that it's 403 feet, a little bit more than that. And then it also shows the church from the distance of CVS. Now, according to our ordinance, this can be passed due to the barriers that are between the church and the CVS, like the tree line, the hedgerow, and the streets. And as you can see, it's not as close, according to the picture, as what maybe you would think 500 feet would be. But because of this, it will need an exception to move forward with selling off-premise.
Okay. Any questions?
We've done this before, though. Herman, we had permission from the church. What's the, when we did it over on Salmon Road? The church.
Yeah, that was a little bit different, and it was very close. This has got two buildings, a ditch, and a tree line in between. We need to make the church aware of it, yes.
The exception was granted by the church, so what are we getting from the church?
Okay, we have not asked the church. We brought it to y'all first. If it's something that y'all want to.
See, that's because they had to put some barriers on the church property on that one. They worked with the church.
Yeah, they put some cedar trees there, which died like a year later. But the fact of the matter was that we had to have cooperation from the church because of what the ordinance said.
No, but what this ordinance says is if you, in your discretion as a council, think that there's adequate barrier, man-made barrier or natural barriers, then you can go forward. But that's a good point, we need to share. But the church, the reason that one you're describing is because the church had to be involved in the planning of that barrier.
Okay.
Well, I mean, stuff that we need to let them know, but the ordinance provides for this type of a barrier to be considered.
And we've had, has there been others besides the Sandlin Road?
We got the one on 6th Avenue, Walgreen, and what used to be 9th Street Methodist.
Okay.
That was there.
And did that building serve as the barrier?
There's two buildings. There was a former car wash, and now there's an auto sales there. Then there's two buildings, and then there's a parking lot, and then there's a ditch, and then a tree line.
Between the 9th Street?
He's talking about 9th.
Yeah, I was talking about 9th Street.
Oh, 9th Street. They just put up some landscape.
Well, there was CVS, and then there was Walmart, and then there was the church.
Well, the others had to put barriers in place. This one actually already has the barriers in place.
Right. Now, the Walmart
What's the
I'm talking about
difference?
is the grocery store.
Okay, any other questions? Lori, can we try to contact the church and just
Yeah, good
make them
plan.
aware of it being on the agenda for next week?
Okay,
and see
I
if
can
they
do
have
that.
concerns? All right, any other questions, comments? All right, next is resolution 22031, approve request for restaurant retail liquor license for Wingin' It LLC, doing business as Decatur Opco LLC, Buffalo Wild Wings at 945 Wimberley Drive, Southwest Decatur, Alabama 35601.
This is just a change in ownership, so the new owners are requesting a new license.
Okay, any questions? Thanks, Lori. Next is resolution number 22032, approve request from T-Mobile for a special use permit to modify equipment on an existing tower located at 1406 Chadwell Street Southwest.
Good afternoon, President, Mayor, and Council. David Andrews with CMS. This resolution will be for an application made by T-Mobile to modify the existing tower at 1406 Chadwell. This is a 149-foot monopine tower. They are providing service at 149 foot. They want to remove all their equipment off of the tower. They currently have 6 antennas. They want to remove those and the remote radios and replace them with 6 new antennas and 3 new remote radios. They'll also be removing 15 feed lines that go from the ground up the inside of the monopole shaft to the antennas, and they'll be replacing them with 2 fiber feed lines. So that'll be a reduction in weight for the tower. CMS has reviewed this application and recommends approval, and it's being done for a 5G upgrade for the area around that tower for T-Mobile customers.
So David, while they do that improvement,
Yes, sir.
we kind of went through that over on Magnolia whenever the water tower was painted and such, and there was a lack of service for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
Will we see that here, or? will
No,
they never
they'll
do
do
it?
a hot swap on this tower. The reason that that there was a disruption in service for the Magnolia Street is they were repainting the tower. So they had removed the antennas from the tower so that work could be done. So during the process of the tower being painted and removing the antennas, they also wanted, when they put the antennas back, they wanted to go ahead and go up with 5G antennas. And so the disruption was actually because of the construction for the water tower being painted and the antennas having to come off for that, and then them getting the antennas back in and put back on the tower. So that was the disruption of that site. But this site, they'll do a hot swap. In other words, they'll actually bring a crane in. That tower is not climbable because it's a monopine instead of a monopole. So they'll bring a crane in and they'll work from a bucket, and they'll swap it in one day, and it'll be back in service within a few hours.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? Thanks, David.
Yes, sir.
Resolution 22033, approve upgrades to street lights around City Hall. Jason?
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor. This resolution is asking for upgrades to the street lights around City Hall. This would include painting those, the ones that needed it, changing them over to LED lights, just making them look better.
Okay, any questions?
So these are DU's light poles, right?
Some of them are, some of them are not, some of them are
So,
ours.
yeah, the ones in the parking lot I know are ours, but the ones, I guess my question is, why are we having to pay to paint and maintain their light poles?
We'd be happy to ask Decatur Utilities. Now, I will say that we're probably asking for a little nicer service than what we want it to look a certain way. So that may be part of that question.
But isn't it gonna match the rest of them downtown
I sure
that they
hope so.
paid off for?
I think we paid for
I was
those.
gonna
So
say.
did we pay for
I was
those?
gonna-
Okay.
Yeah, cause here's the thing, Park and Rec maintains those.
Right, okay.
We paid for the improvements on painting those.
Correct, yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? All right, next is resolution 22034, approve purchase and installation of shades at the dog park.
This is to add shade structures at the small and large dog park that so many people in our community enjoy.
Okay, any questions? I know I have a neighbor that will be very happy about this.
Everybody will, because that area, it needs some shade over there.
Very specific neighbor.
Right.
All right. Miss Wiley, she brought this to our.
I mean, you could have stopped. I mean, yeah.
She texted me today, said she was so happy to see this on the agenda. So. All right, any questions on that? Resolution 22035, declare surplus of 2011 Ford F-150 no longer needed by police department.
Good afternoon. This is just a Ford truck that we no longer need for the police department this time.
Okay, and it's to purchase a new one, is that?
Right, they're gonna use this as a trade-in, what I understood, yeah.
Okay.
It is.
It's gonna come out of the drug fund,
All right, any questions?
which has already been approved, by the way.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Next, resolution 22036, approved bid 22006 to replace the roof on the Princess Theater. Charles?
Yes, sir. We got 8 responses on this bid to replace the existing roof. And the low bidder was Simcoe at $199,477.
It was much less than the second lowest.
It's about $70,000 under the.
Yeah, and they were all lower than our original estimate from our advisor on this project, but his estimate included a complete tear off of the old membrane, where they're gonna lay it over the existing, except for where you may have some wet insulation has to cut out.
All right, any questions?
Come out of Heritage on that?
Yes.
Yes.
What was budgeted?
420,
Yeah, 460 was the original estimate.
460, sorry.
Nice.
All right, next, resolution 22037, approved Decatur Public Library lease extension.
Well, we're extending the lease we have with the public library for another 5 years and clarifying some of the maintenance between us and them. Sherry's here. She was very instrumental in getting information to us. Her boards reviewed it, and they're fine with it. And Jason and his, I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I guess it is Jason too, but they're pleased with the results. So we feel comfortable with this lease.
Okay. And Sherry worked with Herman on that, and I'll have to say Sherry does an amazing job at our library.
Yes.
So thank you for your service to the community. Any questions on that? All right. Resolution 22038, approve U.S. Highway 31 lighting rehabilitation project. Carl?
Yes, Mayor, Council, several of the lights, or most all the lights along the bridge and what's existing along the causeway have gone out due to wiring or rodents or whatever the reason is. And this is for engineering to replace all those lights with LEDs, replace the conduit, replace the wiring. And this is the engineering work to get those drawings done so we can bid out the project.
Okay, any questions?
So whenever we, and the council initially approved this endeavor, as we were going through the A-TRIP grant process, we were taking that all the way to what I call the Y.
Correct.
And here we're reducing that back to where the light poles end.
Where the
in their current
existing
state.
lights end, yes.
Yes, the existing lights. So we reduced the counts down.
Correct.
And made it a little more affordable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, next is resolution 22039, approve Shoals Electric to install emergency fire station traffic signal.
Yeah, we bid out an emergency signal for a new fire station at Modus and Danville Road, and this was the low bidder that we had to respond. It's a little higher than I expected it to be, but I have seen that in a lot of construction. It's coming in significantly higher than we anticipated a year ago, so.
Yeah, it was, what, 279?
269. I probably would have expected between 100 and 150, but that was a year or so ago, and I don't know. I've been told the price of poles have gone way up, but again, I don't know.
And we had five people picked up a packet, but essentially one bid.
Correct.
We got one no bid, but one solid.
I mean, do y'all think it's worth trying to send this out again?
What do you think?
A lot of them are busy right now,
Right.
and it's relative to other projects is relatively small. So I couldn't guarantee we get more responses.
I guess I'm just curious.
Pricing right now is still increasing. I mean, that's my only worry is we open it back up, it comes in higher than where it's at right now.
Yeah, I'm just, it's just, even though we had 5 pick it up, we had one,
So-
one responded,
Yeah,
and it's like,
just-
well, are they kind of rolling the dice and and going high and seeing, well, you know, if I'm the only one, it is what it, I was just curious what you guys thought. I mean, I'm fine either way.
I'd be interested in what these two guys think.
In my experience, I've seen it go both ways. Sometimes you've rebid it, the price has come down a little bit. I won't say significantly, but a little bit. Yeah, I've seen it where it's gone the other direction as well. So it's sort of a 50-50 shot. But
right now, we're not holding any contractors to delivery dates. It's just.
Right.
yeah. And again, the last signal we put up was in front of Austin High School, and it was 120,000, give or take. And the big thing with that, again, those poles and delivery time on those things were 20 weeks. So, and that was 2 years ago.
What's delivery time on this?
Don't know. Didn't ask the contractor that one before he bid.
And we even get responses from bidders that tell us before they even bid, I can't guarantee delivery date. It's no working days. Because they don't know when their materials are gonna show up.
Right.
Okay, any other questions? All right, next resolution 22040, approve agreement with Pewright McAnally to provide services for the sanitary sewer board to serve Champion Auto.
This is the engineering work to bring sewer to that Champion Auto on, I guess that's 31 South.
Okay, any questions? All right, thanks, Carl. Ordinances, first reading, ordinance number 224496, approved sale of 420 7th Avenue Northwest under the Dawn program.
Yes, council. The adjacent property owner, Mr. Craig, has approached the city about purchasing this lot. So we're just requesting that we sell this to him under the Dawn program.
He's already given his, he's already paid for this, hasn't he?
Yes, sir. He's already.
Is there any
That
reason is there any reason that we should not do immediate consideration on this?
No, sir. I
Is
mean,
it
I'd be willing to do. The reason, I do ask these Dawn programs, just so that the council and the mayor is aware, I ask them to go ahead and pay the $500 up front, just because in the past we have had people who've come in and said they wanted to purchase the lots, and we went through both of the hearings, and then they never come back and pay for their
I appreciate that, and I think that's smart and wise, but again, it's money's tied up, so
Yeah.
I don't know why we would not do immediate consideration on this.
Yeah, I'd be glad, I would, yes. I think it'd be great, but I guess that's council decision.
All right, any other questions? Thanks, Alan. Next, ordinances, ordinance number 224494, approve annexation 36722, Foxwood subdivision, 20.1 acres located north of Kiowa Trail southeast and west of Ruby Point Drive southeast.
Yes, this is 20 acres at the back of the existing Foxwood subdivision. If approved, it's already been pre-zoned to R3, so it received that zoning.
All right, any questions? All right, thanks, Lee. Ordinance 224495, convey 326 Church Street Northwest to Celebrating Early Old Town with Art. Alan.
Yes, this is the lot that Ciota had just approached the city about acquiring to complete the Judge Horton lot that they're looking at to move his house here. It is, we are requesting that we donate this to them for the project.
All right, any questions? Okay, boards and committees, reappoint Jacob Woods to the Historic Preservation Commission, term expiring March 19th, 2025.
Yes, this will be Mr. Woods' first full term, and he replaced Mr. Baldwin last year.
Okay, any questions, discussion? All right, our council meeting next week is morning, right? 10 a.m.
Yes.
Council meeting. Anything else from directors? Mayor?
No, sir.
Anything else from council? All right, we're dismissed. Thank you.